discover the NBA's most disappointing rivalry, a clash filled with broken dreams, dashed hopes, and missed opportunities. What went wrong? Is there a chance for revival on this court of lost potential? Let's see. Looking back at the 2021 NBA draft, it's crazy to see how much talent came out of it. But here's the twist. The top 2 picks aren't seen as the top players from that group. Isn't that strange? Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green were supposed to be the stars of the draft, along with Evan Mobley. But neither Cade nor Jalen is considered the absolute best, and honestly, there isn't a strong argument for them either. Jalen Green has been pretty vocal about believing he's the real gem of the draft. He's made it clear many times that he thinks he's better than Cade. He even felt a bit insulted when he was picked second instead of first. He's like, hey, I respect Cade, but come on, I know I'm the best. His confidence was evident even on the court, especially during the 2021 Summer League when he faced off against Cade. Remember that intense game where Jalen showed off his skills? He was on fire, scoring left and right, making sure Cade knew he was there to dominate. It was like a mini rivalry between them. But you know what's surprising? This rivalry fizzled out quicker than anyone expected. People were hyped, debating who would be the better player. But now it's like, what happened to that? To be honest, calling it a rivalry now is kind of funny. Both players haven't really lived up to the hype. The discussion isn't about who's better anymore. It's more like, what went wrong? And why aren't they shining like we thought they would? But here's the thing. Cade Cunningham's got more excuses than Jalen Green, and most of them actually make sense. The Pistons, Cade's team, actually do a bit better when he's on the court. That's pretty impressive for a young player. But for Jalen, it's a different story. Jalen hasn't been able to make that same impact. His team doesn't see that boost when he's playing. And that's a big difference between the two. It's not just about stats. It's about how they affect their team's performance. Cade isn't exactly a standout star. He was once a top draft pick with lots of buzz and expectations when he entered the NBA, but his performance hasn't lived up to the hype. During Cade's time with the Detroit Pistons, things have been rough. The Pistons even set a record for the longest losing streak in NBA history while he was playing. Now, it's not all his fault. The team was struggling before he arrived, and they'd probably still be bad even if he left. But being on a losing team doesn't help Cade's reputation. The Pistons aren't just bad in terms of wins and losses. They struggle in pretty much every important aspect of the game. They're near the bottom of the league in three-point shooting, which means they don't score many points from long-range shots. This lack of spacing makes it tough for any player to perform at their best, especially someone like Cade, who's supposed to be a rising star. It's not just Cade who's been affected by the Pistons' struggles. Other players like Saddiq Bey saw their performance improve after leaving Detroit. They shot better and played more efficiently once they were on different teams. Even players who stayed with the Pistons, like Jeremy Grant and Kelly Olynyk, saw their efficiency drop while playing there. To make matters worse, Cade missed most of a season due to injury. Playing in only 12 games in a year can really slow down a player's development. So it's been a tough road for Cade since he entered the league. But despite all these challenges, there's still hope for Cade and the Pistons. With some changes in strategy and maybe some new players, they could turn things around. And who knows, maybe Cade will start living up to the hype and become the star everyone thought he'd be. But for now, it's clear that being on a struggling team like the Pistons isn't doing him any favors. Cade Cunningham is like the captain of a ship sailing through rough seas. But despite the challenges, he's been doing pretty well, especially this year. His numbers tell the story. He's scoring an average of 23 points per game, dishing out 5 assists, and making 45% of his shots, with 34% from three-point range. Those are solid stats, especially considering the tough situation he's in. What's even more impressive is that Cade is making history. At his age, not many players have managed to score as much as he has while also racking up assists and shooting so efficiently. He's in the company of legends like LeBron James, Oscar Robertson, and Luka Doncic. That's some pretty elite company to be in. But it's not just about the numbers with Cade. He's also a leader on the court, guiding his team through thick and thin. Take, for example, the game against the Brooklyn Nets. The Pistons were on the verge of breaking a long losing streak, but Cade wasn't going to let that happen without a fight. He poured in 41 points, shooting an impressive 15 out of 21, but unfortunately, his team still fell short. It was clear that Cade was giving it his all, trying to lift his team to victory. Despite his efforts, though, Cade finds himself on a team that's struggling big time. And that's where the comparisons with other players come in. Guys like Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, and Jalen Green are making waves with their respective teams, while Cade is stuck on a struggling squad. It's not really fair to compare him to these guys, but that's just how it goes in the NBA. Speaking of Jalen Green, he's a different kind of player. He's not afraid to speak his mind both on and off the court. But unlike Cade, his game hasn't quite lived up to the hype. Sure, he's got the talent, but he's yet to make a real impact for the Houston Rockets. His shooting percentage is down, his scoring hasn't improved much, and he's not making plays like he should be. One thing Green does have going for him is his defense. When he's locked in, he's a force to be reckoned with. His speed and agility make him a nightmare for opposing players, especially when it comes to staying in front of them and shutting down their moves. But the problem is, Green's effort isn't always there. He's not always focused, and it shows in his game. Jalen Green had his best year of scoring in 2023 when he played for a team that wasn't very good. He wasn't terrible when he was on the court, but he didn't help much either. The only good thing about his performance was that he tried to make a lot of shots and scored quite a few points. But now, things have changed. The Rockets, Jalen's team, got some new really good players. And Alperen Sengun, one of Jalen's teammates, has become a superstar. Because of this, Jalen doesn't get to be the main star anymore. He has to play a supporting role, which he hasn't had to do since he was a little kid. This change hasn't been good for Jalen. He's still a good basketball player, but he's trying too hard to score when he gets the ball. He's taking bad shots instead of passing to his better teammates. This means he's not scoring as much as he used to. And because he's not good at other parts of the game, like defense or passing, it's hard for his team to win with him playing like this. But there's hope for Jalen. He just needs to change his game a bit. He should try to shoot better shots and not take so many difficult ones. And when he doesn't have the ball, he should move around more and try to help his teammates score. If Jalen can do these things, he has the potential to be a great player. And if he becomes great, the Rockets could become a really good team. Jalen is not the only young player trying to figure things out. There's Cade, who's in a similar situation in Detroit. Cade has been playing better than Jalen, but he's also trying to help turn around a bad team. Maybe one day Jalen and Cade will become rivals like people thought they would when they were drafted. Maybe they'll both become great players and lead their teams to success. But for now, they both have a lot of work to do. Either way, it'll be interesting to watch them grow as players. So, what's next for these two? Will they bounce back and prove everyone wrong? Do comment your thoughts on this and press the bell button for new notifications. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest basketball content. Until next time, keep ballin'.